Greetings, everybody. This is Serpentine451, and welcome back to another episode of Weeb Warriors. And joining me tonight is my good friend Jay. How you doing tonight, Jay?
What's up, guys? Good evening, you wonderful weebs. How are y'all doing tonight?
Jordan will not be here presently, but he will pop up eventually if he doesn't say that he's coming in. When you actually give an hour's warning, and most people don't want to show up. Say levy. But let's actually get into these saucy reviews. Let's start with Do You Love Your Mom and Her 2-hit combo. These are episodes 5 and 6. We're introduced to another child-mother pair, but it comes with a unique twist. Episode 5, we mostly are introduced to these junior characters, Medhi and Medhi Mama. Medhi is the daughter, and Medhi Mama is, well, the mother. And the best way I can describe Medhi Mama is she is one of those types of parents. She's one of those moms that wants their kid to be number one, to excel at everything, and not be like a weak bitch. But the framework of this whole episode, this whole mini-arc, so to speak, is it's set in a school where our gang travels to actually get better and not be fucking weak. And of course, Mamako does usual Mamako things and just fawns over her son in the most affectionate, motherly way possible. Kind of reminds me of my mom. But then, more into episode 6, which will be the main review for this week. Basically, continuing from the events of the previous episode, Medhi Mama is trying her best to kind of basically make her daughter like top tier in the entire academy setting. But thanks to Mamako just being a wonderful ray of sunshine, this vindictive mother's plans have been foibled. And of course, typical fan service and wants to scar every son on the planet for this, when you actually want to have a swimming event and you have a crush on a girl, but then you find out that your mom is wearing a swimsuit and it scars you for life. But luckily, we don't have to suffer the consequences of her getting attacked by a sea enemy with a face.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yep, we are free from those. But we also... And also in this episode, we get to see a lot of the turmoil that we as the audience knew about Medhi, how she doesn't want to be number one. She just is being verbally abused by her mother. Just having her... Yeah, her mother just wants her to excel, but there's the underlying subtext that she would beat her daughter, she would want her to basically be the best, forcing her into that role. And it's to the point where Medhi just hates her mother for it. And it actually took our characters, well, Misato and Mamako, in this episode to realize that that was the issue. And kind of killed the vibe that, well, kind of killed the feelings that Misato had for Medhi at that present moment. But the next episode, I assume, will be them basically helping Medhi kind of reconcile with her mother like they did with Wise and her mother. But all in all, I'm looking forward to this next episode. These two episodes, well, the show in general has been consistently funny. Especially Porta being a level bundle of adorableness and deciding to, well, in this episode in particular, because there's a scene where they actually have to make food, and Wise is a shit cook. Yeah, she literally just generates a long, gooey mess that looks like shit. It's actually kind of funny. But that's enough of that. Then let's go into Isekai Cheat Magician, episodes 5 and 6. where we got to see a plot that would befall the village that our ragtag gang of Taichi, Mira, and Rin are. Well, after the events of episode 4, where he actually gains the wind spirit Ariel's power. On top of that, he was knocked out, and Lumia actually helped him recover after he was taken to her house, and she tells him that he's a summoner, which is basically, in this world, a summoner is much more powerful because they connect to the spirits more, and that's the underlying force. And they're sent to stop a legion, these individuals that Chasm and his luminary-looking ass working under a individual who he calls his Eminence. They plan to basically overrun the city with a group of Crimson Pact monsters, where they will hide a bunch of goblins underneath the city and have an entire army of monsters led by 3 red bastards. I call them red bastards. But, in typical fashion, they discovered a plot. They tried to beat the living shit out of these monsters, sending their blood and guts everywhere. And on top of that, they also discovered 2 earth magicians named Milo and Mello, who were trying to summon the goblins underneath, red goblins, I should say. And they do look like Norman Osborn and Harry Osborn from Marvel Comics. Yeah, these motherfuckers look like Green Goblin. It's hysterical to me. And Jay seemed to have muted himself, but anyway. Taichi was able to defeat these red goblins with the help of an assassin that they actually beat in the previous episodes, named Anastasia, but for all intents and purposes, I'll be calling her Anna. So, Taichi and Anna, along with Milo and Mello, were able to defeat the red goblins underneath the city, and able to rejoin everyone else in the fight against the monsters heading towards the city. So that's basically it there. And Taichi, as per tradition with this show, he's going to beat the shit out of these monsters with his overwhelming power. Okay, what is next? Okay. The next show we'll be talking about here is Are You Lost? Episodes 7 and 8. Basically, in episode 7, our ragtag team of girls here actually travel the island. Actually, traverse the island to get a good idea of their surroundings. And Homare was actually, with Motsu's help, was able to actually find a dock where ships must have been traveling through and fro from the past, and they were able to find Shion and the Genki girl, I forgot her name. But anyway, they were able to actually find a house. Homare was able to tear apart a hedge clipper and made it into a knife. But in episode 8, they were able to find a hot spring. And I'm sure Jay will like the idea of an onsen scene, because there was that moment of fan service.
I mean, yeah, hot spring episodes are always great.
Yep, but unfortunately, the hot springs were ruined by the island basically saying, yep, that's enough fan service for you guys. Get dunked by the ocean. And we also get to learn that our 3 non-Kudere girls are afraid of lightning, as per tradition. And Homare, being the bad bitch that she is, decided, yep, we're going to need a lightning rod because Ayaka, I think is her name. Uh, I forgot her name. Bitch gets struck by lightning when she was trying to swim out in the ocean. And then when the rain and thunder cleared up, bitch got shocked again, this time by jellyfish. And poor girl. But the next episode is going to be focusing, well, from the title of the episode, is talking about Homore's dad. And in the flashbacks that Homore has about her survival training, we see this burly individual basically showing her how to do, survivalist shit. And we also got to learn that Motsu is much more suited to survival training over our other two characters. And Shion is adorable but dumb. That's pretty much it. And then let's actually get to, if it's for my daughter, I would even defeat a demon lord. We actually got to learn more about this world because in episode 6, we learn, if I can actually find it here. Okay. Latina actually wants to go with Dale because Dale needs to repair his coat after a bunch of adventuring he did. And this just led to Latina saying goodbye to her friends, saying goodbye to Kenneth, and Rita, which Rita is with child.
Nice.
And one of the cutest scenes in this episode, in particular, in episode 6, is actually Kenneth takes Latina to a weapons shop where, because she asked him if she can actually buy a knife and for all purposes, mostly for cooking, on her journey with Dale. And Kenneth's like, yeah, I'll take you down to the weapon shop, which is run by her friend Rudy's father. And Rudy's father was mostly like, I don't sell toy weapons to children here. These are actual weapons. And Latina's like, no, I want it. Then it's like, no, she wants a knife because she's going on a journey. And when everything was all said and done, and she actually gets to say goodbye to Rudy, whom he thinks she's going away forever. As kids tend to do when their friends are going away for a bit. She actually tells Rudy's father that she's going to pay for the knife because he said that I can give it to you for free because it's something for you. But she's like, no, I actually want to pay for it. So she gives him the money. He says, oh, I can actually make sure it fits in your hand perfectly. It will be just fine. You just have to wait 3 days. And episode 7 is mostly them going on their journey. And they actually travel to different places, and they get to just share and bond with each other as parental guardian and child. And they actually run into another demon when they went to a port city. And she explains that the wristband that Latina had, it's actually a gift from her father. And that bracelet is a symbol in demon culture where demon children are hard to conceive. So that bracelet is a testament to a father's love and affection for his child.
Okay, so like demon children are actually hard to come by in this world.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is pretty much the case. And
Okay, that's interesting.
that's because the demon woman, Galios is her name. She explains that what her bracelet says is basically her father's talking about how much he loves and adores his daughter. You know, that sort of thing. And it's similar in Rag or Simaragi. Simaragdi, I think is, or just Rag for short. He basically wrote the same thing for Latina.
Oh, cool.
And we also got to learn that there are 7 demon lords. Well, 6, technically. The first demon lord is dead because he was killed by the second. And Galios explains what their different roles are. And how she is married with a human male she loves. And she explains to Latina that, sure, you're going to outlive... Because Latina asks, you're going to outlive your husband, aren't you? She's like, yeah, but he's not going to change his life. He's not going to change anything for the world because he's with her. And if she and her husband were able to conceive a child, I'm sure she would share that love and affection for her kid in that same way.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, and this show is a special form of wholesome, where Dale is teaching Latina about the world on their adventure to his hometown, and she's just learning a whole bunch of new things, and learning mostly about her race. And since Dale, he's a human, he doesn't really know what demons are like. And it was great to have another demon basically explain some of the things that Dale and Latina didn't understand. And it kind of also helped us understand this world and how the demon lords function. Oh, and also we got introduced to a god where his symbol is a narwhal.
Dope.
And he is a god of trade and water.
Makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. But still, this show, I gotta say, Jay, you need to catch up because a lot of these moments you need to see for yourself. Little Latina is just coming into her own. She's learning about the world, and she just wants to be with her guardian, Dale. Who, in all honesty, yeah. He even says close to the end of episode 7 that even though he knows she's not a baby, he wants to baby her because she's his little girl.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's nice, it's wholesome. There's nothing like bad or horrible or dramatic in it. It's just wholesome. It's very wholesome. And I know that there are people out there like, hey, are you guys just suffering from diabetes from all that cuteness? Yes, I am suffering from diabetes from all that cuteness. Would you like to suffer from that kind of diabetes? I mean, honestly.
Definitely. You can never get enough cute. Like, that is number one rule of anime. You can never get enough.
And that is the truth there. So, Jay, I want to do something a bit different. Let's go with the shows that are not on Crunchyroll, save them... Well, we start with them first, and then just go on to Crunchyroll and save those shows for last.
Okay, that's cool. So we're starting with Dumbbell?
Actually, we're going to start with Vinland Saga.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So the 2 episodes that we didn't get the chance to review were episodes 6 and 7. Episode 6 is The Journey Begins and Normandy.
Okay. So The Journey Begins is essentially, as the title implies, like the official beginning of Thorfinn's journey as a member of Askeladd's band of Vikings. And So this is where Thorfinn kind of hards himself. He like learns to become a killer. He gets his first official in battle kill, and then we get to see kind of it fast forward a little bit. He gets he like hones that killer instinct even more, and then he gets to the point where he like ends up like raiding a village. He kills a couple guards, and then he gets wounded and then found by this old woman and her daughter. And apparently the old woman had lost her son earlier in the season because he had gotten a cold, and so she kind of sees her son in Thorfinn, and so she decides to help him out of the kindness of her heart because she's a good Christian woman. And you know, Thorfinn, he has this little moment where it's just like, man, this is what it used to be like when I was back home in Iceland with my dad, with my mom, and with Ylva and them. I kind of miss it. I could just stay here, but then he realizes, shit, if I stay here, they're all going to die. So I need to hurry up and do my job, but make sure to warn them to run. They need to get out of here. And he even tells, like, the old woman in English, run.
Yep, she slowly was trying. She didn't really get it at first, but when she saw Thorfinn actually just wreck the guards that actually came to their house, he came to a house earlier, searching for him, she realized, shit.
It's a really heartbreaking moment, because even Thorfinn realizes what she sees, and then like in that moment he kind of is like, man, is this what my mother would think of me if she saw this? Like, but I love how he's not even looking when he's fighting those guards. He's just focusing on the old lady, but yet he's still like, you know, killing it. I'm just like, oh dang, dude.
Yeah. And also, I gotta say this. The daughter was like very, very skeptical and just saying, we shouldn't trust this kid. This kid must be like, he's covered in fleas and shit. He's awful. Mom, why are we doing this?
I mean, she was right.
In a sense, yes, but I just thought, yo, listen to your mom a little bit here. Yeah. She's trying to do a good thing.
I agree that she should have like shown more compassion to Thorfinn. But practically,
practically, I get it. I get the practicality. Yeah. At least they saved his life from like getting like swept up in a small river.
Yeah. And also, you know, the old woman covered. This is my son. It's cool. Like this isn't the Dane that you're looking for.
Yep.
This is not the Dane you're looking for.
And that Englishman's like, you really think I'm gonna fall for this shit?
Yeah, no, but yeah, like one of my favorite parts is like when the old lady kind of fades away into the crowd, and then the last scene of the episode, like after like the Viking horde just kind of tramples everything, all you see is the broken remains of the comb that she used to comb the fleas out of Thorfinn's hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, aww.
And that was a very powerful moment, I think, for that part of the story. And moving on to episode 7, Normandy. Basically...
Okay, so we, like, flash forward about, like, 8 years. Thorfinn is 16 years old now. So, you know, he's a teenager.
And this boy wants to kick Askeladd's ass.
He's from his Inigo Montoya shit. You know, you've killed my father, prepare to die. You know, so he's really determined to kill Askeladd, you know, fulfill his revenge quest for his dad. And I love Askeladd, because Askeladd is, like, the biggest troll ever.
Oh, yes,
like,
definitely.
Yeah, no, I got you, fam. No, we're good. Yeah, no, you'll get it. You'll get it eventually. But what you gotta do is you gotta bring me the head of one of the, like, head soldiers of the enemy army. A head with a helmet on. Then,
let's actually,
I'll give you a duel.
like, rewind a bit before we get into that. So, basically, in the year 1002, they actually had to stop a conflict during the winter. Denmark and the war between Denmark and England was pretty much put on hold. And since Ashklad's band of pirates can't really do anything because they had to be hired to actually do a job, because the king of Denmark basically said, no more war for a bit. We're waiting until the summer to kick England's ass.
Yeah, we're gonna let you guys rest up, so, go ahead and do whatever the fuck you want to do. So,
So,
what are we gonna do?
Our band of pirates decided, let's go to France and mess with shit there.
Yep, they were like, okay, let's take a lesson from the birds, follow the birds, go where the food is.
And
like,
they went to
hey,
France.
Look, it's the fucking French. And also, I love the slightly racist depiction of the French king. How he's like this short, like frog.
Oh no! That's I see him as like a lord trying to step up and say that he's hot shit. But yeah,
well,
he looks like a
guy,
fucking toad.
He's
like
a
fucking
racist
toad.
Caricature. Like he's just like this, like little stubby, like fat frog man.
Yeah, this frog man basically thinks he's hot shit, and his forces are just losing to a fort that they're trying to capture. So the Vikings.
Askeladd's like, oh, I got a good idea. So we're gonna pretend to help them, break into this fort, and be like, okay, you're just gonna pay us. But what we're really gonna do is we're gonna steal the shit out of their treasure and then dip.
Yeah, and so he sends Thorfinn to basically be a messenger for.
Yeah, I love it because Askeladd's whole reasoning is like, well, I mean, the French don't give a fuck about us, so like they're not gonna honor the whole code of don't shoot the messenger. So if he dies, he dies. Besides, like he's annoying. I don't want to fucking fight him.
Yeah, and so he goes. Thorfinn goes to the red-colored individuals and basically said, I'm a messenger, is there anyone that can speak Norse?
Yep, and they eventually actually do find a Norse interpreter, and so he relays the message, and so they're like, alright, cool, we'll go ahead and let your forces help us out. I think this will work. And, at first, the king's like, oh, the Lord is like, oh, well, shit, where are your boys at? I guess we're about to cut your head off. And then I love what Askeladd's forces do. They carry their ship like through the woods over the waterfall. They scare the shit out of the enemy forces. It's like, holy shit, a motherfucking dragon just climbed up the mountain. Oh, fuck.
Oh, no, it was those motherfuckers that were part of the Lord's forces, and they saw this their dragon boat, their long ships, and they mistook it for an actual factual dragon. That shit was funny. Like, that episode had me rolling. Like, this episode had me rolling. Like, roaring in laughter. Because, my god, people in those days are dumb.
Yeah, I love whenever we have, like, a medieval set type of series, and we actually get to see, like, battle tactics and stuff. That's why I enjoyed, like, the first couple books of Game of Thrones, and, like, the first couple seasons, because you get to see the actual maps and the strategies and stuff like that. And we got to see a bit of that in this episode, which I thought was pretty awesome.
And I love how they actually run up on the body of water, get in the boats, and start, like, hauling ass. And Thorfinn being, like, the true champion. Actually, most dudes.
Askeladd's forces are getting, like, rained on by crossbowmen. And they're like, oh, fuck, it looks like we might take some losses. But Thorfinn is a fucking G. He's like, yo, interpreter dude. Which one of these motherfuckers is their leader? He's like, that motherfucker over there with the feather in his helmet. And he's like, alright, bet. So Thorfinn, he just starts running and just cutting people down. He jumps, he's like, and he starts climbing the fucking fort, and he like dispatches most of the people handling like the crossbow fire at the top of the fort. And so it's like, oh, and then so Askeladd's like, oh shit, what happened? Now's our chance. And so they bust through, they get the necessary push, and Thorfinn is able to cut off the captain's head. Unfortunately for Thorfinn, he doesn't account for the fact that when he cuts the captain's head off, it goes flying into the water. So he's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and so he has to dive back into the water to rescue the head.
And then Ascalid's forces mows through the fort, kills everything, steals the treasure without the Lord knowing, and the Lord's like, yes, my strategy was awesome. No one can beat my tactical prowess. And
He's like, now we're gonna go ahead and kill those Vikings because we don't need them. They're dumb anyway. And then he goes into, he's like, now let's check out the treasure, boys. And then he's just like, what?
Yeah, so few pieces of gold and one silver goblet, and it was like, the fuck is this?
And essentially, they essentially did the equivalent of leaving a note that says, hey, thanks for the treasure, fuck off, peace.
No, Ascalid's like, hey, thanks for the treasure.
Hey, you fat fuck. Thanks for the treasure. We're splitting it 50-50. You get the victory. We get all this nice shit. Cool? Cool.
And the Lord's like, you fucking scum! I hate you! Die!
And so they're getting away, and then, Bjorn is like, yo, where the fuck is Thorfinn at? Didn't you guys send Thorfinn out here? He's like, oh, fuck Thorfinn. He's probably dead. Ascalid. Wishful thinking, my friend. Wishful thinking.
And then Thorfinn's like, here's the head, bitch. I want that duel now.
I get my duel now, motherfucker.
And he's like,
so
yeah.
I love it. I love it because Ascalid once again is gonna be a massive troll. He's like, I bet Thorfinn, I accept your duel, but first we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Cause these dudes are hurling arrows at us.
And then I love Thorfinn, so she's just like, God damn it, man.
You goddamn coward!
All I want is one fucking duel.
Oh, but I cannot wait for this Sunday's episode. It's going to be great.
This show is absolutely fantastic. I say it every week, and I'll continue to say it until it's the case. Vinland Saga is the best show of the summer season, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's funny when we have a show that's mostly set in winter.
Yeah,
being premiered in the summer.
It's super odd. It's super odd, but I like it.
Yeah, I like that juxtaposition. It is fun. I dig it. But let's actually get to another one of our favorite shows. How heavy are those dumbbells you left? So, we will actually get to talk about episodes 6 and 7 on here. Oh, shit. Well, folks, I'm sorry. We're having technical issues. Well, technical issues on my end. Apparently, Discord likes to want to throw a few monkey wrenches into the situation and make it seem worse. Like a fart in the wind. You know it's there, you smell it, and you blame it on the fat guy that's next to you. But, Jay, since we're now back and fully operational, let's get to Dumbbell, episodes 6 and 7. You finally got your wish.
Yeah,
you finally got your wish. Well, not in the way that you expected it, but you finally got your wish. Hibiki shows her strength in episode 6. She enters an arm wrestling competition.
Yeah, so as somebody who is a huge fan of the Rocky franchise, I fucking loved this episode. So, if you guys remember a couple weeks ago, I was here on the show complaining. I'm like, okay, where the fuck is the white-haired transfer student that we see in all the promo art? Well, now we know who the white-haired transfer student is. Her name is Gina Boyd, and she is a Russian arm wrestling virtuoso. And I fucking love her. She's so extra, and also every time she talks about Russia, we see like a muscular cartoon version of Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, that shit was funny. This man is like has his arm locked around a bear's neck, just looking like he's the most beashy motherfucker.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Annie Putin is best Putin.
Yes.
Don't at me.
Yes. And the best thing about this is we got to learn how to properly do arm wrestling.
Yep. Also, I love the interview segment because it reminds me a lot of like sports anime and sports movies where the bad guy gets their interview and they're talking about how their upbringing and stuff shaped them and why they love their particular sport.
But it's mostly played for laughs in this, and it's great.
Yeah, and I love that Hibiki's like, why the hell does she get her own interview? I don't get jack shit. What the heck, man? I'm the main character.
Oh, but the funniest thing is when I hear about the arm wrestling competition, Hibiki is looking at this home theater system, and she's like, man, if I didn't have to pay for gym fees and my food expenses, I could actually afford that, but it sucks. This is lame.
And then she sees the arm wrestling competition, and that's when Machio is like, oh, you guys want to enter? Cool, let's show you how to do it. And so they test out arm wrestling, and so it's Akea versus Hibiki, and Hibiki just straight up...
No, Ayaka just loses. She's like, oh! Yep. They have this moment where they...
My favorite part, though, is fucking Machio, because Akemi's like, alright, me next, and then Machio's like, no, I will be your opponent. And he turned into a fucking JoJo character.
Yeah, and he basically unleashes his massive, muscular arm to prove how much of a beast he is.
I was waiting for him to yell Kono Dioda.
Oh, it's great. When they actually had that match, Hibiki envisioned Machio as this giant boulder that basically crushed her underneath his massive force.
Yeah, because she's like, whoa, why am I not moving? It's like I'm going up against a mountain. And then I love Machio's inner monologue. He goes, oh my god, I actually had to get serious for a second. Well done, Hibiki.
And then...
Good job.
At the, like, when the tournament actually happens, Satomi and Ayaka are like, nah, we're not in this thing.
Fam. Look, I saw how bad I lost to you earlier, and I'm alright.
And then Akemi's like, I'm sick. I'm gonna miss it.
I wanted to participate, but I'm sick. And she's just like, well, dang it. If there's nobody to enter, how am I supposed to win the prize money? And then that's when Gina comes in.
Yep, and the best part about it is Gina's like talking shit because she sees Hibiki. Yeah. This thick girl.
She's like, I've never lost to someone my age before. This will be a piece of cake.
And then Hibiki's like, goes full beast mode and shit.
Yeah.
She reaches into Ultra Instinct levels.
Yeah. Exactly. She's like, for the home theater system.
Yep. And she beats Gina.
And so,
she rips her shirt, much in the way Machio would rip his clothes off.
She pulls a Machio, and Machio just sheds a single tear of pride, like, yeah, that's my girl.
And then Gina goes on to basically say Hibiki's her eternal rival, and she's going to Koyo Women's Academy just so she can see Hibiki train to see how swole she got.
Hibiki train, and also she's become their live-in exchange student.
Yeah, she stays at Hibiki's house.
Yeah, I love it because it's just like she has this eternal like Ivan Drago, I will break you mentality.
Yep. But she realizes, well, she's too stupid to realize that Hibiki
is just dumb lucky.
Yep, and we get to see when they're trying kipping, and when they're actually just like lifting and doing chin-ups and shit.
That Hibiki
can't do it.
She has no actual technique, so she has no idea what the fuck she's doing. But Gina's just like, oh, I see what she's doing. She doesn't want to put all her cards on the table, so she's making it look like she sucks.
But the narrator's like, nah, fam, that's not how it is.
No, she just sucks.
No, she dumb.
She's just really good. She's just really good at being strong for no real reason.
Yep, and then we get into episode 7. Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Which is probably I love this episode because so what made me love Gina I already did from the previous episode, we discover that Gina is one of us. She is a filthy weep.
Yes, she loves cosplay, and she figured out that Satomi is the cosplayer. I think it was Yuki.
Yeah, Yuki Ryuka, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And Satomi's like, "Fuck!"
Oh no! I'll be your slave for life, please.
And Gina's like, "Nah, fam. What I want is just hang out with my idol and shit."
What I wanted was, and so she does like an exclusive like photo shoot, for Gina's own purposes, and she has some fun costumes. She dresses as Chun-Li at one point, and I'm like, oh, cool.
That was great. It's just any of our dreams when we have like a cosplayer we want to actually take photos with, like me and Yaya Han when I was at Westworld that one year. Oh, great, wonderful, perfect.
Yep.
So, it all coalesces into them going to Akihabara, and actually they go into they actually jog to Akihabara.
Yep, and then Gina teaches Satomi a thing or two about active rest, and like they jog there, and she basically explains her real reasoning for coming to Japan, not just to defeat Hibiki, because arm wrestling is like her side hobby.
Like her true she loves idols.
Her dream in life is she wants to become an idol. And I was like, oh shit, is this about to become an idol again? I'm like, I've only just started to warm up to idol anime thanks to Zombieland, son.
Oh, but no fam. This is Dumbbell. We get to see them do muscle shit.
This is probably the best part of the entire episode. And I love the fucking, like, idol director dude. He's just like, nah, man, all these girls are boring. Idols shouldn't just be normal. And, you know, as if on cue to answer his prayers, in come the muscle girl being carried in by buff, beefy Silverman gym members.
Wearing gimp masks.
Yep, well, Satomi's wearing a gimp mask.
No, Satomi's wearing a kendo practice helmet.
Yeah, she's wearing a kendo mask.
Yeah, because she doesn't want her identity to be shown to the public and all that shit.
Yep.
Because she wants to hide her secret hobby. And
so at first I'm thinking, oh cool, they're gonna like start dancing and singing and shit.
It's like, nah, fam.
No. They do. Dumbbell does what Dumbbell does best. They lift, bruh.
Yeah.
They lift.
Yeah, and they show how swole they get, and the audience eats that shit up, and the rest like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is happening? Why? This is so weird. What is
and then Macho in the audience basically explaining to Director, which is his name, by the way, and he's like, no.
And he explains the ultimate exercise of, like, in terms of weight training. The most difficult exercise in terms of physical weight training, and that's of course the deadlift.
And then Satomi
performs like a freaking champ.
Yeah, she digs deep. She finds her core and she lifts that dumbbell like there's no tomorrow.
Yep,
just to audience roar and applause, only to have everything basically played for laughs at the end, saying, "Yeah, they didn't become idols."
Yeah, no, idols should be normal after all. I was wrong. I was dead wrong.
But we also got to see what Hibiki's part-time job is. She actually works.
Owns a barbecue restaurant.
Well, actually, her brother does.
Oh, her brother does. Her brother owns the barbecue.
Yeah, that's how she explains it, and it goes. They actually have a moment to talk about what foods are good for like weight training.
Yeah, the different cuts of meat. I know, like how it's important.
Yep. And we had Machio and fucking Satomi dressed as cows.
Yeah, but Satomi dressed up as a cow is adorable. I was like, oh, it's more cow Satomi.
Yes, and then Machio being beef, like nothing but those Belgian muscle cows and shit.
No, but like my favorite part is of course Gina trying to observe Hibiki's diet, and of course, Gina being Gina is over-exaggerating and like, I know exactly what she's doing. I once saw a video of a Japanese wrestler doing this exact same kind of high carb load routine. She's a genius.
Nah, fam.
No,
She just
she
a
just
hungry
likes
hoe.
food. She just likes a lot of food. And I love that Hibiki explains, yeah, I have to work a lot because I eat like a bottomless pit, and in order for me to not starve to death, I have to make a lot of money.
Yep. I make money so I don't starve, even though I'm a high school student.
And I go to gym. And then Hibiki like had the ultimate when Akemi explains that because her sister is on the board of the women's academy and she's so into fitness and weight training.
No, she's actually the chairperson of the school.
Yep. So she will actually pay for anyone who goes to the gym for fitness reasons. She'll actually cover gym expenses. And so Hibiki's like, yeah!
I can eat and do shit!
Free gym! More food! If I don't have to pay for the gym, that means more money can go to food! Yeah!
And it's fucking beautiful. It is the most hilarious thing. And also, folks, I know that sometimes, I know Jordan has his moments where he doesn't want to watch dub if he's actually watched it sub. I highly recommend that you guys check out the dub of this show.
I want to see. I'm going to watch the dub eventually. I've heard good things.
No, because in the dub of episode 6, where they have the sports day, Hibiki in her English dub refers to herself as a thick girl.
Nice.
Yes, and only for that alone should I suggest this dub to you. And plus, the actresses, the voice actors they got to voice the characters in the dub, almost damn near perfect. Almost damn near perfect.
Awesome. I'm going to definitely watch the dub for sure.
Yeah, because Hibiki's voice actress in the dub almost fits her to a T. Almost fits her to a T. And they also add a lot of lingo that we in the West would know. It's like, get swole, and all this shit.
Yep.
But the one thing that pisses me off, and they don't keep with it in the dub, they say something different at the end of every episode. Instead of nice bulk, they say, true power comes within. Or comes from within, which is dumb.
That's lame.
Yes. Nice bulk.
I prefer nice bulk.
Yes.
Because you can make fun of it and say nice bulge.
Yes. And then, I mean, anyway. Machio going into like his muscle moments is kind of hit and miss in the dub, but still partway funny. And it's funniest.
I'm still fine. I'm gonna find it funny either way because of his photoshopped ass head. But
oh yeah, it's and Machio's voice, the voice actor they got from Machio in the dub, perfect for his like body type when he's like skinny boy. But when he's like big boy, it stays the same. It's great.
Sweet. All right, yeah, that's Dumbbell.
But that's Dumbbell.
Definitely, I think, the funniest show of the bunch.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I look forward to every episode of Dumbbell. I always watch it the day it comes in. Makes me laugh uncontrollably. Lord above.
I always set an alarm to wake up right when the episode drops, so I can watch it as soon as I get up.
It's like a little piece of heaven decided to come down and say, "Hi, Tony. You're gonna have thick girls do heavy lifting." It's like, I didn't expect I wanted that.
It gives you exercises to do at home, so you're not a lazy fat ass. Like,
yep. If you want to get partway swole in your own home, I know what. Okay, a little bit of a public service announcement on Weeb Warriors, which rarely happens. Yeah. So let me give you the spiel. I know for us anime fans, us weebs, us otaku, whatever you want to call yourself, we're all inclusive here. we know how it is. I know I can be a fat ass most of the time, and I don't want to get out of my apartment. Dumbbell allows you to get as ripped as you want to stay as fit as you want to, by just showing you simple things you can do at home.
Yeah, and also, you don't have to go hard with it. Like, they can also just be simple exercises to help you, like, maintain, if you're comfortable with how you are right now, you can just maintain the shape.
Yep,
right?
and if you want to actually see yourself being a little bit thinner, or to have a little bit more tone to your body, like bicycle crunches, all that great stuff, just lifting weights or anything you can find around your house that's equal to the weight that you want to do, perfectly do it. But let me preface this, let me say, everyone, if they want to better themselves, that's fine. But Dumbbell will show you how to do these things properly, and how to maintain your body is through proper blood circulation. So don't do anything don't overexert yourself, don't overtask your body to the point where everything is hurting. Okay, public service announcement over. Let's get to the shows that are on Crunchyroll. So, Jay, where should we start?
So, I think we should start with Magical Senpai.
Yes, and I actually caught your review of Magical Senpai today. Perfect video, my friend. I was about to say in the comment section of your video, but I just forgot to do so. Good video.
It's all good.
Would recommend to a friend.
Yeah, like, Magical Senpai is one of those ones. It's a short, so I have a different bar for it, but it's so much fun.
Yes.
I don't remember last week's episode all that much.
That's easy for me. I can easily remember it. It's basically...
I know the pool part happened in that episode.
Yes.
Right?
Our gang is trying to accrue funds, if memory best serves me, because that episode is... Oh, no, it's Creative Senpai, Fundraising Senpai, Pool Senpai, Overcoming Senpai. So basically, it's Saki instead of Maki. The gal girl?
It's Saki, I realized that. I realized that this week's episode, But yeah, Saki, it's really interesting that, like, Saki is good at street performing, but it also turns out that Magical Senpai is really good at street performing.
Yeah, and the funniest thing about this episode, the first vignette, Creative Senpai, Saki cannot bake cookies worth a damn. And she talked up how she wanted to give her brother delicious cookies, and she sees Senpai just by herself chowing down on her cookies.
Yeah.
And
hey, can you help me with this?
It's like, why? Why should I help you do that? And then
well, we're club members, and I promised Makun that I'd make him the best cookies ever, and I can't do it. So I need your help.
Yep, and so they were able to make cookies, and Makun and Assistant Kun actually come to the club room. They actually eat the cookies.
Yep.
And Assistant Kun's like, nah, I ain't trusting these cookies.
Yeah, so at first Magical Senpai, like, while they're waiting for Saki's cookies to, like, finish, Saki's like, hey, can I try some of your cookies? And she goes, no, these are for Assistant Kun. Relax. You eat yours, but these are for Assistant Kun.
And then...
Like, alright, I guess. And so we go to the club room, and then she offers the cookies to Assistant Kun, and he's like, nah, I don't
trust this.
I know your shenaniganery. I'm not falling for this. I don't trust these cookies.
And he's like, oh, these are actually good. And then Maka's like, oh, I feel something in my mouth. And he just pulls out the little magic ribbons.
Yeah, he pulls out the little magic handkerchief ribbon, and then, like...
Saki's like, no, what are you doing?
Magical Senpai's like, oh no, we switched cookies. And I'm like, of course she would troll him with magic cookies.
Yep, and then Fundraising Senpai, where Senpai actually says, hey everybody, we got club funds! Yay! Since we're an actual club now! And she looks at the envelope like, we don't have enough to do shit.
We don't have anything. We need to raise more funds.
And
so, of course, Saki and Makun do their whole street performing thing. And, at first, like, Assistant Kun's like, yo, street performance is pretty awesome. Wow, Saki's such a nice person. And then we find out that Saki like is she's pretending to be nice to the kids, and when the kids give her like these little rocks and stuff and
Like
money,
acorns and shit.
Fuck it. Nope.
No,
And
it's
he's
like,
like, oh, I guess I was wrong.
yep. And then we see Senpai just posing like a statue. These three boys are like, huh? She's standing like a mannequin. Let's flip up her skirt and see what she has.
And then it turns out to be the same three little shits from the park episode where she like forgot her clothes in the disappearing sleeping bag.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I like that little bit of continuity, and they're like, oh, not this crazy bitch again.
Oh, and also the funniest thing when they had everything that they needed from that moment of fundraising. Assistant's like, oh, where's Senpai? And you see this fat old man basically saying, oh, you did such a good job as a mannequin.
Take all my money.
Let's have
You're
all...
such a great statue. Take all my money.
And she's like, I can take all your money?
We're not going to take all his money. No, we're taking all his... And Senpai's like, no, we're taking all his money.
And then we have... Then... our magic club going to the pool. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. They go to the pool.
Okay, so at first, like, we think we're having fun, we're swimming and stuff, and then, like, Saki decides to fake drowning to try to knock them out.
First off, Senpai dragged them to the pool because she wants to do a pool trick where she tries to, like, she's gonna wrap herself in chains, toss herself in the water.
Yeah, she wants to do a classic water escape, because of course she does, because bondage. I'm telling you, this girl has a fetish. But, yeah. So, Assassin-kun is like, oh hell no, because, like, when you failed with those other tricks, it was funny, and it was embarrassing, you know, I got to see your panties and all that, and that was cool, but, like, you could actually die here, fam. I'm not cool with this.
And she's like all sad and depressed and shit.
She's like, I'll prove to you I can do this. And so he's like, alright, we're gonna do this with the simple level first.
Oh no, then Saki's like, I'm drowning, oh no.
Yep, and then
Maka,
that's when Maka's like, she does this all the time. And he puts like fake plastic on her lip, and he's just like, yeah, just leave her there. So
it's like, you've been through this before?
Yep.
And then like, Senpai's like, I can do it.
I'm like, telling you I can do it. Like, you guys are you just underestimating me, Assistant-kun. Baka. And it's just like, alright, fine, then show me you can do it. We're just gonna use these simple ropes. I'm not even tying them complexly. Break out of these ropes and show me you can escape.
She said, yeah, I can break down here in a couple seconds. Several seconds pass.
Several seconds later, several minutes later, what's happened? She's been down there for a while, hasn't she? So Assistant-kun panics, jumps in, gets her out. She was almost done, but not quite, but she was definitely close to drowning.
Yeah, and she was like, I almost had it. And this poor bitch almost disrobed herself while she was untying herself.
Yep.
And of course she was wearing the school swimsuit.
Because of course she does, because she's magical senpai, and that's why we...
Yep.
You adorable, adorable idiot.
Oh, and then the last vignette of episode 7, I believe, is basically her conquering her stage fright. Assistant-kun's like, yeah, you have issues with actual stage fright. I'm going to help you solve this problem. So let's try you, like, slowly integrating you.
Let's try to have you like do your tricks in front of just this bug, and he does random objects, and then it's working out pretty well. She's doing pretty good. She's actually doing real magic, and so he's like, all right, I'm gonna go home, but you can practice in front of this cardboard cutout of me, and then he decides to hide behind the cutout to see if it's worked out. And it's actually working. She's able to actually do the build trick that she failed at in the first episode. And when he's all excited and proud of her, he's like, "You did it, senpai!" And then she
And
sees
she's like,
him,
"You were there the whole time." Like, bleh.
"Oh fuck!" And he goes, "Oh no, I didn't mean to. I got excited. I didn't mean to reveal myself. Oh shit, no!
My clothes.
It's all my clothes now. Oh."
And then let's actually get into episode 8. And
Okay,
there.
I fucking loved this episode. So the vignettes are, I think it's Chinese senpai.
Yeah, it's Chinese senpai, mentalist senpai, Mekon senpai, internet senpai, and delivery senpai.
Yep. Okay, so Chinese senpai, assistant Kun, heard magical senpai say like, "No, this week we're gonna be today we're gonna be practicing Chinese magic." He goes, "What even is Chinese magic, dude?" And so first thing he imagines, of course, is a magical senpai in one of those like sexy Chung Li dresses, and he's like, "Oh hell yeah, Chinese magic! What's up, senpai? How?" And it's just like, what the fuck? And he sees the mask, and it's just like, okay, what's happening here?
Like, I'm
And we
disappointed.
find out like the Chinese magic is, has to do with like face swapping with different masks. And he's just like, well, there goes my dream.
Yep, and then they, much like, because, folks, you need to see his review, it's great. All the different shenanigans that everyone in the club actually goes through, trying to figure out how the trick works.
Yep. And I felt so bad for Maku. Because, he's like, I have an idea. Maybe they use like a thin strip of plastic, and then that's how they're able to, like, quickly rip off the mask. And so they give him plastic, and they fit it around his face. But these idiots, senpai, like the idiot she is, forgets to put air holes for this poor man.
Yep, our chunk basically is almost gonna, like, suffocate.
And she almost killed the poor guy.
And she also basically made Saki flash, Ma-kun, and Assistant-kun.
Maku and Assistant Good. Assistant Good was like, alright!
Like, fuck yeah!
Hell yeah!
Oh, and then Mentalist Senpai, like, Senpai is trying to prove that she's a mentalist, but due to her idiocy, she falls for the easiest tricks when Assistant-kun, as per what he usually does.
So she tries to be a mentalist, but she's over-exaggerating. Trying to seem smart, but like it's obviously failing because she's an idiot. But she is like I said in my review, she is as easy to read, if not easier to read, than reading Goodnight Moon to your niece or nephew. But,
No. The way I see it, like, this bitch is so dumb that rocks are less dense than her.
I mean, for real. Like, he's just like going to town, and she was trying so hard not to be able to be unreadable, and he's just reading every single expression like it's nothing.
Yep.
And she's just like, oh, damn it.
And then you
So
have,
she gives up.
like, the beauty of Mekon Senpai, where basically they try to do a trick with oranges.
Yeah, and she's like, well, this is a trick that kids will love. And then it's just like, well, yeah, I really don't know how this is gonna work for real. Never mind. I didn't make the hole big enough. Phrasing.
And then we get to Internet Senpai, where
So Internet Senpai is probably my second favorite.
oh no, and since you're on Weeb Warriors, not on your channel, you could voice what you actually thought that was.
So I fucking loved this part because, of course, Magical Senpai has the bright idea. Well, since we're an official club now, we should make a website so that we can get gigs, like performing at old folks' homes and nursery schools, that kind of shit. And so she makes the website. She sucks. She's terrible. She has these really crude, dumb drawings, and that website just looks like shit. Luckily, Saki is a professional. However, apparently she's a professional porn site designer.
Yes.
she makes the website, and I'm sure as men and women of culture, as I assume your audience is, like you guys have all seen cosplayer Patreons. You guys
Or
have all
cam girl
seen-
websites.
Yeah,
I know you degenerates.
It definitely looks like one of those. She takes all the different images that are on her phone from the various episodes and all the little fan service scenes, and like Assistant Kun looks at it and is like, "What the fuck did you do?"
It's like, nope, we're not doing this. No.
Nope, this will attract the wrong kind of attention. This is inappropriate. We are not trying to get men to pay you guys to do weird shit.
Oh, and then they actually cleaned it up, and they actually were able to get a gig, and that leads into Delivery Senpai.
So they end up getting a gig at a, and Saki and Maku, warm up the crowd.
They get balloon, like, the little kids get balloon animals and all that stuff, as per the course. And then we have...
Yeah, and so Matt, she's like, so the teacher's like, alright, Matt, you're up. And at first, Senpai's her usual, like, freaking out self. But then she realizes, oh my god, these kids are bigger idiots than me. I can actually play off my fails like I meant. Holy crap.
Because these are like kindergartners and shit. They're
say,
like, wow, magic, sweet.
Yeah, I would even say like preschoolers. They wouldn't even know if you like, hit the shit behind your back.
Yep. And that's because One-chan homeroom teacher, who decided to tag along, because she pops into the scene like as if from nowhere. She basically explains to Assistant Kun's like, yeah, little kids here, their expectations on magic are lower than dirt.
Yep.
So they'll be happy about anything?
Which is why I figured my sister would do okay here.
And Senpai's like getting confidence. She's like, yes, I can finally do magic. Awesome.
Yeah, she's killing it. She's doing all her tricks. She's like, oh, this is so cool. I'm succeeding, guys. I'm actually succeeding. Is this what success feels like? It's great.
And
but
so
then,
she pulls off this trick like, okay, kids, I'm going to make this candy disappear. And so she's going to say, with the help of my little magic cane here, I'm going to make this candy disappear. She taps the cane, and with sleight of hand, she hides the cane in her hair. She's like, oh no, I made the cane disappear instead.
And they're like, whoa,
and
where'd the cane go? But this is the moment when she realized she fucked up. You do not fuck with little kids and candy.
Yep.
So, she makes the candy disappear, and they're like, where the fuck is the candy? Go find it! We gotta find the candy!
And so they assault this girl.
Yup. And they eventually find the candy. Oh, that was great. I was like, oh my god, she actually succeeded! For once in her miserable life.
Like,
good for you,
once in her miserable existence, she was able to actually get people excited about magic. Granted, there are a bunch of like 5-year-olds that are easily swayed.
But, hey, success is success. She'll take it.
Yep. Like any other performer, we take what we can get.
We take everything in stride. Yeah, exactly. That was I love that vignette. I was like, oh my god, do you believe in miracles, ladies and gentlemen? I think she actually succeeded.
Yep.
That was great. That was great. Absolutely wonderful.
Yep, wonderful. And sometimes I find myself just singing the tune to the OP.
Right?
Because it's catchy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun.
And because it's so short, I don't even feel like I need to skip it because it's such a short anime in general.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Like it's great.
And
right, let's go ahead and move on to the next show.
Let's go into let's go into Dr. Stone, episodes 6 and 7.
Okay, so I remember episode 7 because that one was newer. What was 6 again? 6 was when he first rescues Kohaku, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Basically,
yeah. This so episode 6 is when we get introduced to Kohaku, who we will later find out in episode 7 is the priestess to a nearby village of exactly 40 people. And basically, the reason she was out in the woods in the first place is because her older sister, who is the head priestess of said village, is sick with an illness, and so she uses hot spring water as, a cure or a possible cure for her sister's ailment. However, she ends up falling for Senku because she sees, Senku, he's very calm, collective, and ingenuitive. But Senku is your usual asexual shonen protagonist.
Oh no, that's mostly in episode 7 and shit. And then episode 6, the one thing that comes to mind when Senku finally came to after his whole flashback thing, he basically tells Taiju and Yurisiha.
Oh yeah, so
he tells them, okay, I need you two to be moles on Tsukasa's side to basically help me out there. And I will go to the other civilization and see if I can basically recruit them to my world of science.
I'm gonna explore where that smoke signal came from, and I'm gonna try to build my kingdom of science, and eventually, maybe in a few weeks, a few months, a few years, we'll meet up again, and we're gonna kick this lion-beaten bastard's ass with science.
Oh, and then Kohaku and Tsukasa, they fought. Holy shit, they fought.
Yeah, because she saw Tsukasa murder Senku.
Mm-hmm. And she was
like, I'm going to avenge the nice gentleman who was trying to save that young lady. So, prepare to die, bitch. And Tsukasa was like, bitch, please. I fought a lion with my bare hands.
And knocked a tree on this girl. To the point where Senku's like, yep, I'm gonna put together a pulley system. Gonna lift this bitch tree up.
Yep.
And then...
the tree up, and she's like, okay, cool. I think I've taken a liking to you. And then that's when Senku's like, yeah, no, I'm not into the whole relationship thing. Love is illogical. He's Spock, pretty much.
And she's like, I wasn't meaning, that kind of affection. I was like, I have respect for you, dude.
Although, we know that she's just being a tsundere, and she does actually like him like that.
Oh, yeah. Truth. So she takes him to her village, and we meet Gin and Keen.
Yeah, so, Kinro and Kinro, these two idiots are the village guards. Whatchamacallit, Kinro is the more hard-ass, serious one. He's like, no outsiders allowed. Anyone who lives outside of the village, the only people that live outside of the village near us are people that were banished a long time ago. So if you don't live inside the village, that means you were kicked out. So we can't let you back. We can't let you in under any circumstances. But Kohaku's like, back off, bitches. This man saved my life, so fuck off. And it's just like, well, we can't break the rules just for you, Kohaku. And it's like, alright, bet. Oh no, you guys have a 2-on-1 advantage. What am I going to do? I guess I'm going to have to hurt you. And poor fucking Ginro is just like, fuck, she's too strong. I'm scared. Kinro is obviously still trying to play the badass, so he seems like he's unfazed, but we all know internally he thinks himself.
And then you have Senku's like, yep, I'm going to deal with this nonsense myself through the power of science.
And so he takes out his soap, he creates some bubbles, and then they're like, oh shit, what are these giant floating orbs?
What sorcery is this?
They start poking it, and more bubbles start to reduce themselves. And then this is when Chrome steps onto the scene. The local wizard.
I love this man.
of the village.
This man's a legend.
He's fucking awesome. The only thing that I am upset about from the manga, and they've done this with Senku too, because Senku has a catchphrase in the manga. His catchphrase is "Get excited." They changed it in the anime to "This is exhilarating," which I guess makes sense. But whatchamacallit, Chrome has a catchphrase. Whenever he gets excited, he's like, "Man, this is bad!" Like kind of in like a Michael Jackson type of way. Like, but they cut it out of the anime. I was a little upset. I mean, I can understand how that could get annoying, but like I liked it. But so Chrome is the local wizard, and he's like, "I'm not gonna let some rando upstage me, bitch. I got this. I know how to make bubbles. I'm gonna show you how to do cool shit too.
With
Let's
fire.
have a magic battle." But I don't want the villagers to get all hurt and caught in the collateral damage. So we're gonna go the outskirts of the village where my shed is, and we can battle there.
Yep,
And
and
Senku's
so,
like,
behold
"Oh."
my rainbow bridge!
Yep. And Senku's like, "Oh, there's a lot of cool shit in there. But what do I get if I win?" Well, if you do win, then you can get all the contents of my shed of my shed of wizardry. But if I win, I get to decide your fate. And Senku's like, "I bet." So Chrome starts off with his rainbow bridge, which is just a color test flame reaction. Which it was funny because I actually watched Don Machi before I watched Dr. Stone last week, and Hibana actually does the same color test in her flashback. So I was like, "Oh, that's funny."
Oh, you mean Fire Force. You said Danmachi.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I said Don Machi. Yeah, Fire Force. Yeah, Hibana does the same color test, like the chemical color test, in her flashback in Fire Force. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's
we'll
funny."
actually get into that. We'll talk about Fire Force after this here.
I just wanted to quickly mention.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I thought that was really funny too, how those kind of correlated. But anyway,
he does the rainbow bridge, and then Senku's. That's no big deal. He explains basically what happens. Like, so you probably got some blue crystals from this cave, and that's how you do that. And he's like, and like, on the outside he's like, whatever. But on the inside he's like, holy shit! How did he know about the blue crystals? Is he reading my mind? Is that what kind of sorcery he's doing? What the fuck is going on?
and then Senku basically like, yep, I'm gonna be like a G and show you up, homie.
Yep, and so like Chrome is like, all right, what you got next, man? What you got next, Chrome? Let me see. And he's like, I've got my ball of lightning, and he brings out a ball of sulfur that he turns into like one of those like static ball. I'm sure you've seen one of those in like a novelty store or whatever.
Oh yeah. To create static electricity.
Balls. Yeah, it's like a static ball that where you touch it and your hair stands up and stuff. Basically, that's what Chrome is made. And Senku's like, oh, that's dope. But you want to know how to make it even stronger? Here's my flag of science. You rub it like this, the
Because
power
it's
gets
leather.
multiplied by like tenfold. And his hair goes Super Saiyan, and he zaps Chrome, and it's just like, what the hell? And then Senku, for one last trick, he's like, okay, let me see this. Okay, cool. This is some cool stuff you got here. And so he takes some of Chrome's supplies, and he actually turns the tip of Kinro's sphere gold, because his name is Kinro. And he's like, man, makes perfect sense, right? And like Kinro, of course, he's the hard ass. He doesn't want to show that he's impressed, but he's like, I see no point in turning it back to normal, so I'm just gonna keep it like it. It's not like I like it or anything. Huh.
And then Gen's like, can you turn mine silver, please?
He's like, well, I have no problem showing up. Can you turn mine silver? That would be dope. And Senku's just like, yeah, I think we got him. We got him, Chrome. And I love it because basically, and I made this comparison. Chrome and Senku are basically like two kids who are super into Minecraft, and like poor Jinro and Kohaku are trying to understand them as they're like, going nuts over their different materials and shit. And it's just like, I don't get it. It's just a bunch of rocks.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, but they're having fun. So let them have was fun.
And then after the whole event with the, after the whole wizard battle, Chrome and Senku actually discuss what's going on here about,
Yeah, he basically gives him the recap of human history.
Yep. Gives him human history, and Chrome's like, yeah, Senku, I'm gonna help you
it blows his mind.
achieve the power of science.
We find out Chrome's motivation for becoming a wizard.
Yep, he's holding out a torch for...
he's into Ruri, who is Kohaku's older sister, and he wants to save her life. That's the whole reason he became a wizard in the first place.
I definitely think he's holding a torch for her.
And so, basically, Senku's like, I bet, that's cool.
Let's figure out what's ailing her, and then we can solve that problem through the power of antibiotics.
The ultimate weapon of science. And I'm super hyped. This is actually almost, it's like 5 or so chapters behind where I am currently in manga. So yeah, I'm keeping a nice pace. I like to be ahead, but not too far ahead.
Right.
I'm really liking Dr. Stone. It's a lot of fun. I dig it.
And I also like that Kohaku tries her best to help her sister, and her sister's like, don't do anything to hurt yourself. Come on, I don't want to lose you.
It's a really nice relationship.
I dig it. And speaking of Imoto and One-chan relationships, let's get into Fire Force.
Okay.
So this entire 2-episode arc is about District 8 going up against District 5.
Yeah. We get the raid of the 5th Division, and that was pretty awesome. We get to see freaking Lieutenant Hinawa go in, and just how badass this guy is.
Yeah, this man guns down bitches. Because his ability is essentially... Yeah, because his ability is essentially controlling firearms. Well, the internal combustion of firearms.
Yeah, he's a one-man army, that dude. He is so fucking badass. He even does like the classic badass anime character with glasses, pushes up glasses thing. And I'm like, oh, he's getting serious now. Shit. And then, of course, episode 6 ends with Shinra making it all the way to...
that's episode 5.
Ivana. Episode 5, yeah. So
and the funniest thing is...
Arthur's fight is hilarious because Arthur is a fucking idiot. So, the whole time, Arthur is fighting the scientist dude who gave the infernal guy steroids to boost his infernal powers.
And
Arthur is having trouble the whole time, but he's like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I not going at full power? What is happening?
Why am I off today?
And like, the scientist guy is like, no, you don't understand. The infernal is way more powerful than you. That's the problem. It's like, you're just not strong enough. It's okay. You're just a weakling, blah, 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 blah. He's like, no.
And then Arthur's like, oh, I had my sword in my wrong hand.
He's like, I've been using the wrong hand this entire time.
And everyone during that fight is like, are you fucking serious? Are you for real?
You're a fucking moron. No, I'm a knight. Bitch.
But the one thing, the whole reason why they went to the 5th, Department 5, is because Iris decided, you know what, I'm gonna go talk to Princess myself, because she was at the nunnery I was at.
Yeah,
maybe I can get through to her.
That Princess Hibana was actually a sister prior to becoming a captain.
Yep.
So, then episode 4 ends with
episode
Shinra
5.
Showing up.
Episode 5, bro.
Yeah. Episode 5 ends with Shinra showing up at Hibana's, like, inner sanctum. And so, Hibana and Shinra have an epic fight.
That mostly was in episode 6, and that shit was fucking killer. Because we got to see Hibana's powers at full display. She was able to actually create fire constructs based on flowers.
She makes a giant sakura tree, which reminds...
That was dope. It was
VIP
dope. I
agreement
loved
from
that.
Bleach. It was
And we got
awesome. And Shinra is your natural shonen protagonist. He's like, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna save you because I'm a hero. Damn it.
Because that's what
And
heroes do.
All you need to do is look up in the sky and yell my name, and my name, Captain Wake Up Call.
No, it's like, no.
Right in the face.
Delayed lady wake up call man.
Yep. Yeah, he said something like that, and he punches her right in the face, which triggers her flashback. And so we find out that, Hibana was a nun at the same, convent as Iris, and she used to do, like, tricks for the different sisters to kind of brighten their spirits and stuff. And, like I said before, she even does, like, the flame color test to make everything look all pretty and all that.
Oh,
And,
this hoe basically decides to go nuts because the nunnery, like, bursts into flames and shit.
Somebody at the nunnery bursts into flames.
And she's like, oh, flames are pretty. I'm gonna, like, go fucking crazy over this shit. There's no God, there's only fire.
Yeah, see, what she had, and I think what's really interesting about her is, like, her whole character arc is, like, about self-hatred, because, at first she thought flames were pretty, flames were beautiful, they were a source of happiness, but then she sees one of the sisters burst into flames and then burn down, like, the nunnery, and she's just like, nah, actually, flames are destruction, flames are horrible, flames are the devil itself, and if I can control flames, that means I'm the devil. So that means I should act like a devil. And so that's when she starts to research the infernals, and she blackmails the higher ups at the fire force, and is like, hey, here's a little small sample of the information I've gathered. If you want me to do more work for you, I want the rank of captain and enough funds and a proper lab so I can do real good research. Cool? Cool.
The funniest bit about episode 6 at the end, she's like, I've kind of fallen for you, Shinra.
Yep. I like that. Shinra's just like, why are you being so cooperative now? She goes, well, because I like you. And I love Iris. Iris is just like, okay. Didn't see that coming, but alright. So now we officially have a tsundere in the mix with Neko Girl. Even though I still want to know more about Neko Girl. But we are going to be investigating the first soon, according to the next episode preview. So we will see more of Neko Girl soon, hopefully. But the funniest part by far of the episode is at the end, Captain Obi is being all serious. He's drinking his beer. He's getting ready. He's gearing up. He's like, all right, Chief, we're about to go investigate the fifth. Things are about to get physical, so I need you to, cover for us and all that stuff. Okay? All right, cool. And he hangs, and he calls up Hinawa. Hey yo, Hinawa, I'm on your way to you right now. I'll be there in a couple minutes. He goes, wait, what? It's over. Huh? I love that. Obi did not even get a chance to flex. He's so upset with himself. He's like, wait, what? Man, I had a whole speech and everything.
That shit was funny.
Yeah, that was a great episode. Fire Force still continues to be dope. I really like it. Really interesting world. The action sequences are great. Love the character designs. Fantastic.
But still, great show. I love it.
Yep.
So let's see here. Let's actually go into Danmachi.
Alright, Danmachi. So, I forget what happened. I forget which one is the previous episode is
episode 5, I believe, is Home.
Yeah, the Hearthfire Mansion. Yep. Home, the Hearthfire Mansion. Basically, this is the episode where they first move into officially move into the mansion, and they start to recruit new members to the Hestia Familia. And then the big secret is revealed that Hestia is an enormous amount of debt due to the expensive price of Belle's, magic knife, the Hestia knife. And when this is found out, everybody who wanted to join the Familia at first is like, nope, I'm not trying to be in debt. I'm cool. Peace. And so their recruitment drive is an absolute failure. But it's cool because they realize that, they are a strong enough Familia on their own, and Hestia learns to swallow her pride and allow her Familia members to actually help her out. Because that's what families do. All in all, it was a pretty sweet episode. I enjoyed it. It was a small slice of life type thing. One of the funniest parts of that episode was, of course, Hestia and Lily both turning down all the different girls that were trying to apply to the Familia. They're like, nope, Belle would like her too much. Nope, Belle would want to protect her. Nope, her titties are too big. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, you're a dude, but you look too much like a girl, so nope.
Oh yeah, that shit was funny.
So towards the end of the episode, we find Mikoto's friend from the Take Familia showing up at the end to tell her some kind of secret information, and this shocks her, and this is when we cut over to an image of the Kitsune girl that we've seen in all the posters and the promo art.
Yep, Haruhime.
Yeah.
Who is a friend of theirs from the Far East.
Yeah, we don't know her. Yeah, we don't know her name yet at the end of episode 5.
But we know her name in episode 6, which is the Ishtar Familia in the City of Lust.
Yep, Ishtar Familia, City of Lust. Okay, so this is dope. I was excited for this one because as soon as I saw Ishtar in the name, I was like, oh, there are about to be a bunch of bad bitches in this episode.
Yeah, we have a bunch of Amazon girls. Well, we have Mikoto and Chisoo. Chisoo, I think. Well, let's just go with that. Or I'll just call her Chi. So Mikoto and Chi, Makoto and Chi. Oh shit! Yet again, we're having technical issues on my end, folks. We are going to get through this. Don't you worry. It'll be all fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, everything will just breeze on, move on, smooth sailing and all that sweet jazz. All that good jazz. Discord will be a pain in the ass. Always will be a pain in the ass. Yes. Oh, Lord above. Really? Are we going to have this issue? Oh, boy. Well, essentially, we will get back to Jay here in a moment. But as I was trying to say, initially, we had Mikoto leaving the house with her friend from the Take Mikazuchi Familia, and they go to the City of Lust, which is basically the red light district in Oreo. And this is where we run into a bunch of prostitutes basically playing the game, but they're also part of the Ishtar Familia. And the Ishtar Familia is nothing but the hottest of women, just being nothing but notoriously thick hoes, sly bitches, all that jazz. You have no idea, folks. And most of the girls that we're introduced to in the Ishtar Familia proper are Amazonas. They're Amazon girls, baby. Yep, definitely Amazon girls. And when the group got split up and poor Belle was left alone, oh, my people. Oh, my people. This poor boy gets basically kidnapped by these 5 Amazonas girls, and they say, "Hey there, little rabbit, or little rookie. You want to have fun tonight? You're going to have fun with us."
Okay, cool.
Okay, so we got the problem fixed here. I basically was recapping for the audience here that our gang basically follows Mikoto and her friend over to the City of Lust.
Yep.
And they run into the workings of the Ishtar Familia.
Yep.
And poor Belle runs into Hermes, and he had a very important mission, which we will find out later in the episode what he did. Oh, he most certainly did something.
Yep, he definitely did something, or someone.
Oh, that's most certainly true. But we'll get to that when that comes. Poor Belle actually gets an aphrodisiac from Hermes. Yep. Apparently, an aphrodisiac so powerful that it can just drive anyone to lust.
Yep. And like at first, Belle's like, no, I'm not here for any of that. But then they find the on it first, and it's like, nah, I think you came here to party.
And so those Amazoness girls basically kidnap poor Belle and take him to the main Ishtar Familia house, where they actually get to meet the captain of the Ishtar Familia, which is this big frog woman.
Yeah, so another frog person. So we got a lot of frog people this week.
Yep, and I'm like, nah, fam, I'm not for this.
I'm cool. That might be somebody's fetish, but it's not mine.
No, mine is tall, thick, and beautiful that first kidnapped Belle, that first saw him. The one with the long hair covering one of her eyes. Keen, clean, perfect, amazing.
Let's go with that. But so Belle ends up running away, as he does. And so he tries to duck into a room, and this is when he runs into...
Oh no, he runs throughout the city trying to, get away from these bitches. And he runs into a brothel that looks like a Japanese-style building.
Yep.
And that's when he runs into Haruhime.
Yeah, Haruhime, yeah, there you go. And at first she thinks he's her customer, and she's like, oh, okay, don't worry, sir, this is your first time, I can...
Yeah, I'll do all the work for you.
This is what, and she starts to try and get down to it, but then she exposes his collarbone and she passes out. Which, in my opinion, that means she's usually the type to just be dominated, and she's not used to having to do the dominating, and so that's why she passed out. But I do still feel like she's an actual factual prostitute.
Oh yeah. She's down to get dirty. She even explains it herself because back in her homeland, she grew up with the stories of heroes and how they would save innocent girls and how she's a prostitute and no one should save her because of her lot in life.
Yeah, which is why she instantly struck a chord with Belle, and they ended up bonding over their love of fairy tales and hero stories. But then she explains well, since I didn't defend my maidenhood, with iron will as like they did in the stories, I'm just a lowly prostitute. I'm no one's prize. I don't deserve to be anyone's princess.
And Belle's like, that's sad.
So we now know we got a fox girl officially entering the house.
Yep.
I don't think she's any real competition for eyes, but still cute.
Even though the two look very similar, but still.
They do.
Oh, I like Haruhime. She's adorable in her own way.
I do too. I think she's really cute, and I like her obsession with fairy tales and
Yeah, it's gonna take the entire Hestia Familia to save her from her lot in life and to have her see that she doesn't have to be a prostitute and all that shit.
Yeah, and I definitely think she'll eventually join the Hestia.
Oh, most definitely. That's what I'm kind of expecting. And plus, it would give
connection to Makoto. So.
Very true. And Hermes was making a deal with Ishtar, and Ishtar's like,
Yep. And
Freya ain't
he
shit, she
definitely
has
sealed the
nothing
deal.
on me. What she got that I don't have?
Yep.
And Hermes
Hermes
is like,
just
yeah,
passed
bitch.
out, like, yeah, definitely not. Okay.
And then Ishtar's like, drops trowel. And she's like,
Yep.
you're gonna prove that to me.
Yep. And he's like, okay, cool, nice.
And she
And
bangs the shit out of this boy.
She
And he's in
literally
bed
fucks-
crying like a bitch.
She literally fucks the information out of him. He's like, she's obsessed with Belle Carnell. I don't know why, I don't know how, but that's what she wants.
And then
She
Ishtar's
goes,
like, oh, little rookie's in my city. Okay. I want to
All
take
right.
Freya's prize. Let's do this game. Let's go.
I guess I'm gonna steal. Yeah, cool. So this will be interesting.
Yep. I'm going to one-up Freya by stealing the prize that she covets. Little rookie.
Oh man, Hestia versus Ishtar is gonna be so much.
Oh, that's going to be fucking hilarious because as overly obsessive as Hestia is towards Belle, I cannot wait to see Ishtar in a bid to basically tell Freya she ain't shit. She's just one of those thoughts that you see on the street.
Yep. Also, just battle of the titties.
Yes.
Titanic titty war, if you will.
Yes.
I'm excited for that.
Well, it's not gonna be like magical.
War game.
It's not gonna be like Magical Senpai where you actually get to measure them titties.
Because we all know Hestia. We all know Hestia.
Yeah, Hestia's bestia, especially that Chestia.
Exactly. Like, she just, if she unties the boober, like, boy, it is over. It's like Goku and how he wears weighted training clothes. If she ever unties that titty ribbon, it's game over.
Yep.
Game over, man.
Yep. We gotta give it to our thick goddess.
Yep.
She's good. She is good.
She's amazing. Do not question it. Worship her. She is the best.
But Ishtar's good too. Ishtar good.
Ishtar is great. So is Freya. Honestly, there are a lot of waifu selection done by.
Yeah, when it comes to waifu selections, we can have whatever we want. If you like them flat, Loki and one of the Loki familiar girls, I forgot her name. You can have that.
Tion? Yeah, Tion.
Yep,
she's
you can
flat.
have that.
Then
I don't know
can
why
put
you
it-
want Loki, but hey, that's on you, bro.
But yeah, Loki's a bitch, so I wouldn't be into Loki. I mean,
But
know-
if you want glorious thickness, like
they got
us
two ever
men
Loki.
of culture, we men of culture, enjoy a little bit of thickness. And if you're,
Bitches get riches.
oh yeah, and it is good. And if you want that, you have Hestia, you have, I think Demeter was in one episode of season 1. And she's good. Hephaestus is good.
Ishtar now.
Ishtar, and she's that special brand of thick, chocolate thick.
And you've got the more well-endowed here from the Loki familia, Tion.
That's another special brand of chocolate thick.
Great.
And if Jordan were here, he would tell us to shut up and get the fuck out.
Of course, there's also Irons,
I mean, I like my Kuderes as much as the next person. Kuderes are good.
I like Irons more than I use Kuderes, so Irons is great.
Yes. So, speaking of a lot of things that we enjoy, we're actually going to be moving to something that some of us tend to enjoy a little bit more than others. We're going into the soapbox discussion for this week. In accordance with Anohana coming to Netflix, Jay proposed the topic for this week. And explain to the folks at home, Jay, what the topic for the soapbox discussion is.
Okay, so the topic for this week, of course, if you've been following the show, we have been going dissecting what makes a good insert genre here. And, you know, like Tony mentioned, Anohana just recently came to Netflix, and it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, tear fuel drama anime of all time. So I proposed to Tony that we focus on drama series this week, and also that he'd report back to me after checking out some of Anohana.
Which I was able to watch at least up to... I'm still working on it, in the grand scheme of things. I'm up to episode 4, I believe. 3 or 4. I'll lean more towards 4.
Telling you, man. Once you get through, so you will be a puddle of tears.
Yep. Well, I'm mostly a crying mess when it comes to some dramas. It takes me a while to watch dramas, folks. It's
a good one. It's a great one. What? So
but let's actually get into the meat and potatoes of this topic. What makes a great drama anime?
So it's very similar to what I was talking about last week with, or well, I guess
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's very similar to what I was talking about in the last episode about what makes a good romance anime. It's definitely that.
I think we're talking about protagonists, like a good romance protagonist.
Yeah, but but still, the level of relatability applies. I think the best and most key element of a drama series is definitely character writing. If your character writing is not strong, your drama is going to fall apart. Because the whole point of a drama series is to be able to really sell character interactions and make us care about each different character interaction. And that's what makes Anohana so good. Even the characters that you don't like at first that are dicks, as the episode goes on, and as the show goes on, you learn more and more like the different layers of each character. And even the ones you're like, oh, you're a total fucking asshole. You are a garbage human being. You start to realize, oh, dang, ouch, I'm sorry, man. You're still a shit person, but like, I understand why you're a shit person.
Yep, I misjudged you, homie.
Yeah, like, I want you to get better. You just misunderstood is all. Oh, that sucks. Like, that's what really makes a good drama series. Like, anytime you can, like, really connect with a character and you're just, oh, man, I just feel so bad for you, dude. Because, like, anybody can make a series that's sad where somebody dies, right? Obviously, that's going to make you sad. But a good drama series makes you go through a whole wide range.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you there, Jay. It's the whole gambit of emotions. It's the interaction. The characters themselves feel like actual people.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's not like a series, but a damn good movie of a really good manga series.
Are you about to say a silent voice?
Yes.
Yeah, because the silent voice is just there.
Dude,
yeah.
I told you when I brought the manga up before the film was made, and you were like, oh, I don't feel... Like, I'm not feeling into it because it has it really portrays... I don't recall how you initially felt about it when I told you about it.
So when I first read it, I was really just turned off by it because I can't stand bullies, especially when people bully somebody with a disability, especially given the fact I myself have a disability. So I wanted to punch all these people. So
oh yeah, well you're not the only one who suffers from a disability, so...
Yeah, I was like, this is hard for me to read.
Yeah, but...
So I went and watched... I watched the movie, which it still made me angry, but by the end of it, I was a mess. But
oh yeah, it will make you feel things. Like, while I was reading it, I looked at the story of A Silent Voice, and I thought, wow, this is about a kid who was an awful, awful human being. Treated a deaf girl so horribly just because he is what his friends did. And it was to the point where he resented and where he's pegged as the only party involved in her being picked on and whatnot, and making his family suffer for his actions. He realizes that, oh shit, I'm awful. I want to repay everything that I can, do.
Yeah, I want to try. I want to try to be a better.
But once I take care of all my debts, I still feel like I'm a garbage human being, and I'm going to like end it all. And he planned this out. He planned out like ending his life because of this. He was ostracized and he felt unwelcome in his own in the world.
And
And
I love the progression. Like once he like actually starts to try and live, and he starts to connect with Shoko, the X's start to fall off of people's faces, and he's able to like actually look people in the eye and open up more, and actually be a person again.
oh, most definitely, and that's the beauty of a silent voice. It's a story where, sure, you cannot. The things in the past will stay in the past. They will haunt you, but it's your ability to move forward that is very compelling. And
Yeah, because I mean, I think drama more than any other genre is the genre that is supposed to stick with you and teach you a real lesson about a real concept in life.
yeah, even though it does its magical mumbo jumbo bullshit, Clannad actually presents this
Man.
very well too.
Mentioning the word Clannad makes me feel feels.
Yes, exactly. I feel the same way, man. But
Uh,
that's the thing. Even though that was an adaptation of a visual novel, a key visual novel, and just key anime in general, they send powerful messages of love, devotion, friendship that all people feel.
Just the power of bond in general.
Exactly.
It just really hits you hard.
Yeah, and that's the thing with a lot of key visual novel adaptations. They carry over the core themes of what made those visual novels brilliant. Like Angel Beats, for example, even though it's a show that I haven't seen myself personally, but I can relate to the struggles of.
Dude, that's actually one of the few watch and me cry. And yeah, it was great. Man, yeah, no. Speaking of like dramas, though, since we're on the subject, I mean, I know this like news piece is a few weeks old, but you know, you can't mention drama and not mention Kill Annie.
Oh
And,
yes,
like,
Jordan and I talked about it when it initially happened,
yeah,
and our
definitely.
hearts go out to all those involved over at KyoAni.
Yeah,
We still have our
definitely
hearts out
one
over
of
there
the
here at Weeb Warriors. Even though
one
we're
of the-
degenerates, our hearts go out to you folks.
Yeah, we all have hearts, and I mean, like, Kyo Animation is responsible for some of the greatest dramas in all of anime just in general. So, like, you know, we can't talk about this genre and not, you know, give our respects to Kyo Anime.
Exactly. Mad props to KyoAni. And
Yeah,
one
I'm
thing
sure
that,
you guys will get right back on.
and well, it looks like they're slowly getting back on their feet. And
Oh yeah,
that's good.
It's definitely looking great for them. But
Definitely.
yeah, I feel like this was a really good discussion. I'm definitely want to hear.
And one thing that I want to point out before we actually go here is there's some things in drama, well, in drama shows like this, since it's more of the character interactions and character explorations. And when we go to shows that are adaptations of things, one that could be classified as a drama, which is the most hysterical to me, two of them come to mind, personally.
Okay.
Actually three. But one isn't, the third one isn't really an adaptation of something. Not to my knowledge, but I look at it because it's kind of stupid in its own way.
Okay.
It made me mad after I finished it. But there are these two, like, anomalous things out there in the ether of anime. They are adaptations of Western works. That being Romeo and Juliet and The Count of Monte Cristo.
I love the Count of Monte Cristo. I was not too big of a fan of Romeo X Juliet.
Yeah, that adaptation is its own special brand of nonsense. I mean, I personally own both, and both of them have very interesting ways of going about things, and they tell the stories of their adaptations in a very unique way. Like Juliet is the more assertive and aggressive one, and Romeo is the passive one in Romeo and Juliet. And even though they changed up the makeup of the story, everything internally, so far, if I can recall correctly, is the same as the play. And same can be said for Count of Monte Cristo. But the one thing about drama anime that just infuriates me is when you want to make something dramatic, you can't just throw dumb shit at the person's face.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I own an anime in my collection called Rumbling Hearts. Essentially, it's about a dumbass. Now, hold on, folks. I actually will get the DVD. Now, I'll read the back to you, folks. Is that dumb? There you are, you piece of shit. Come here. Oh, shut up. Okay. Here we go. A hypnotic opera where love and loss walk hand in hand. Rumbling Hearts doesn't shy away from the sad song of real life. Fans of the romance genre must surely take note. Tough situations are conveyed with surprising realistic emotion, creating a genuine keepsake production for those who know the most intense conflict comes from within. You will be forever changed. 4 high school friends, basking in life's shining promise that everything will be perfect until tragedy intercedes. A horrible accident leaves Haruka comatose and her loving boyfriend Takayuki broken by the burden of blame. Stumbling in a wounded waking dream, Mitsuki becomes his willing caretaker. But their self-destructive relationship is ravaged by guilt and pain. When Haruka stirs from slumber after 3 long years, a desperate charade begins. Lips whisper lies and trade secret kisses of betrayal. Some things can never be undone. Silver linings slip away under every moon. The sunrise is so bittersweet.
That sounds really good.
This show, folks, made me so mad, I almost lost my shit.
I mean, I'm losing my shit just here.
Oh, believe me, Jay, if you're mad for me just describing this show to you, trust me, man. The show is far worse. It's something you have to see to believe.
I'm not gonna see it. I'm gonna just take your word for it.
I mean, you look at our principal protagonist, Takayuki, you will think that he is scum, that he is a worthless human being, and you will blame him for everything that goes on in this anime. Even the things that he's not partially a part of, you'll blame him for shit.
Yeah, no, I'm from that description, he definitely seems very scummy.
Oh, and he's not alone. His willing caretaker, Mitsuki, she's a winking participant. She had some doubts, but she still did it because she's a dumb broad that has feelings for an emotionally broken man that is trying to basically pull the wool over some poor girl's eyes that has displaced memories of a time when she's still a high schooler.
He was gone for 3 years. That's fucked up. That's way too fucked up.
Oh.
Not watching it.
Oh,
So
believe me,
over.
I watched it for you many years ago, Jay. Like, I bought this in my first year or so in watching anime. And This thing still infuriates me to this day.
Yeah, no, I'm not going down there. I don't plan on watching.
But it is a testament to trauma that can piss you off so bad, but you think, well, this is real. People will actually do this shit.
Shit like this happens. There are shitty people in the world. No,
Yeah, but that's just a testament, folks.
Yep.
If I ever feel like actually doing, like, one-shot mini-reviews of shows, like Jay does on his channel, you can bet that I will tear this thing a new asshole.
I definitely would like, but I'm not gonna watch the actual show.
Yep.
But
Jay would watch me just tear into this show like it's like butter.
It sounds very entertaining to watch you rant about this show because it sounds horrible. Like, but yeah, great episode, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
so
if you
we
want
will
anime
hopefully
content separately from Weeb Warriors that's slightly toned down for monetization purposes. Definitely check out my channel, Mr. Dave Reviews. I review Fire Force, Vinland Saga, Magical Senpai, Dumbbell, and Don Machi, as well as Dr. Stone. So definitely, if you want more reviews of those particular shows and you want more like an individual focus, with slightly more detail than I go into here in Weeb Warriors, but not as fun. But gotta pay the bills. So you know how it is.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely. Check out my channel. I'm sure Tony will leave a link in the description and all that.
That will actually happen. And folks, thank you for joining us for another episode of Weeb Warriors. That's 2 hours long. If you watch till the end of this, episode, I applaud you. I honestly do. But this is what happens when Jay and I get together and we just talk nonsense, and it's great.
Yep. I'm sure Tony will chop this down to a reasonable size. But if you have made it to the end, congratulations. Here's your internet cookie.
Yep. And if anything, if you can make whatever nonsense I say into memes, I appreciate that too.
Alright. Peace, y'all. See you next week.
See you next week, folks. God damn it.